Over President Biden's mental sharpness are not going away. Videos of his gaffes and apparent freezes are in plain sight. How the White House is spinning what voters are seeing. Jessica Anderson and Joe Concha react.
I have a fun idea, babe. Maybe just stay inside.
So questions about President Biden's age keep dogging the White House. Just yesterday, the president appeared at one point to forget the name of his DHS secretary. We'll show you the video. You see what you think about this.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm Jill Biden's husband. Thanks to all the members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure I'm going to introduce you all the way. But all kidding aside, Secretary Mayorkas, as well as Secretary Becerra, and advocates and families for law enforcement, faith leaders, everybody's is here.
Okay, so that's what happened. Joining us now, Jessica Anderson, president of Sentinel Action Fund, and Joe Concha, Fox News contributor. Great to have both of you with us. Jessica, I'll give you the first crack at that. What's your interpretation of that video?
Wow. Well, Biden's blunders and clear mental decay, I think, are at full stage here. And what's been interesting to me is how the White House has tried to cover it up. And they're trying to literally deny what we can see with our plain eyes of what's going on, is that this man is in total mental decay. And so you couple that with the reality that the Biden campaign doesn't really have a platform right now. Their entire policy perspective is anything but Trump, not Trump. And so you've got a leader that is lost, policies that have no footing or bearing on what the American people care about, the economy, closing the border, safety and security. And it's no wonder that the campaign is in a total free fall. And I think very much in disarray heading into the debate next week. We'll see how he even performs then in November at the polls.
So here is Karine Jean-Pierre, to your point, just yesterday on MSNBC.
What you saw is the Republican Party really manipulating what was being said and what was being seen by the American people. We've been calling it cheap fakes. That is something that came directly from the media outlets, and calling it that, the fact checkers, and calling it that. And so we're certainly going to be really clear about that as well, and calling it out from where we are, from where we stand.
Notwithstanding what we just watched together, I don't know if you can call that a cheap fake or a deep fake or any other kind of fake. We watched it here. ABC poll, mental sharpness. Biden, 23%.
Wow.
ABC poll, age heading into re-election. Biden is too old, 28%. Trump is too old, 2%, Joe.
So on average, 1/4 of the country believes that the current president has the mental acuity to do this job over the next 4 years. 1/4. What does that say as far as Biden's chances? Axios today has a very stunning report. They quote a Democratic strategist who says this, Bill, Dana. It is unclear to many of us watching from the outside whether the president and the core team realize how dire the situation is right now and whether they have a plan to fix it. That is scary. And we keep hearing from the White House.
Martha, you're slipping, I think.
Oh, what did I say? Did I say Dana? Well, I'm sorry. I'm so used to that. No, I'm
slipping.
Worried
about your mental acuity.
Yeah.
We'll let it pass.
This will be a story somewhere, I'm sure. Look, we keep hearing that these clips are edited and manipulated. We just played it verbatim, right? And it's not like this is a one-off. This is almost a daily occurrence now at this point. We all have relatives, unfortunately, that have gone through this. This does not reverse itself. It only gets worse. And then the worst part is that we hear from Democratic strategists, we hear from many in the media that this is a president behind closed doors that morphs into basically the modern day version of John Adams, right? He's doing quadratic equations. He's explaining how the flux capacitor works. And only in public are we seeing this. So that's the big question. If this is the person we're seeing in public, how is Joe Biden operating in private? You're right. The debate is everything on June 27th. Okay. If he could show he could operate without a teleprompter and without scripted remarks, Bill, then maybe he gets another chance. Otherwise, I think Democrats will be looking for
this
else.
Might be a preview of next Thursday. We'll see. There's Trump yesterday in Racine, Wisconsin. Watch.
Joe Biden is humiliating our country on the world stage. He's actually humiliating us. But Crooked Joe and his handlers are insisting he's sharper than ever, and they say the videos of Crooked Joe shuffling around are clean fakes. You know what a clean fake is? They're deceptively edited. They say they're deceptively edited. All of the mistakes that he's made every day. He can't go anywhere without a mistake.
Okay. I think he meant to say cheap fakes. So he's got to clean that up. Go ahead, Jessica.
So I want to make a point here that I think is missing from this conversation. Every time the White House talks about these deep fakes or cheap fakes, they're actually taking away from the reality that we saw Senator Cruz on the program earlier today talking about AI that's manipulating images of young girls and putting it out online, and then you have a trail that follows them. They are taken away from a very real problem, which we actually have with deep fakes. That's not this. These images are real. They're unedited. We can see them proven with our own eyes. But they're taking away from the reality of people that are actually struggling with this online. And it's trying to make light of this issue, which is actually a real issue. And so I think shame on the White House that they haven't come out today and clarified for the record that these are not altered images. Shame on the White House for not actually presenting an accurate picture of the president, both behind the scenes and in front of cameras. That's what voters want to see, and they want to see these issues cleaned up before November.
Well, we don't think there's any news conference today, but that's a question that needs to be asked. You know, are you going to
clarify the record?
The statement that these are manipulated or altered videos, because they are not. They are not.
Plus, what about the president's words, right? We can't ignore the fact that he said that he inherited 9% inflation when he came into office. We can't ignore the fact that he said that his uncle was eaten by cannibals. We can't ignore the fact that he keeps saying that he was a constitutional law professor at Penn when he was not. I could give finite examples here, but we have finite time at this point. And those are his words. Are they manipulated as well? That's a good question.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Dana just sent an email.